is the workflow that will show you how to scan something into a PDF file with a photocopier to then work with that file to be able to laser cut the product dimensionally accurate. I'm going to be using Inkscape for this project, and I hope you enjoy. First, open up Inkscape and just drag the PDF file onto the canvas and click on OK. So this is the item I'm trying to produce a laser cut part for. So it's a photocopied gasket essentially. So what I'm going to do first is just make sure the size is correct. You can just check up here, so the width and the height set to millimeters up here. Make sure that that's looking correct. What we want to now do is right click on the image and go to trace bitmap. So what I've found as a fairly decent setting here is 500 for the brightness threshold. Just click on that, make sure this is selected, and then click on OK. You'll see what that's done is trace the bitmap, and it's done a fairly decent job. I can hold control on the keyboard and zoom up with my scroll wheel on the mouse. There's a couple of little blemishes here that we need to fix up. Some little areas around the circles like this here, they're a little bit rugged, which we can fix up. So I can close this one now, click on that and press delete on the keyboard to get rid of that one. And we see here that there's still some artifacts left over from the photocopied scan, so we want to get rid of those. And to do that, what we can do is go to path and go to break apart. What that does, breaks all the little components apart. Now if we click off the scanned item now and just try and click and drag, no, that wasn't what I wanted to do. Control Z to undo any mistakes like that. I want to click and drag over to select as much as I can of the part that I want. Now I think I might have missed a bit here, so I'm going to do that again. Be careful to select as much of that part as you can. Okay, I reckon that's pretty good. Now you can press exclamation mark on the keyboard to invert that selection, which I've done, and then I'm going to press delete on the keyboard. Right, so that's not what I wanted to do. There's a bit of a mistake there. Control Z to undo anything, and I'm going to just try that again. So once again, make sure you select everything and exclamation mark to invert that selection, delete. That's better. So now I've got everything deleted bar the part that I want. Now I'm going to select everything again, and I'm going to go back to path and go back to combine. That brings it back to the clean situation I had earlier. Now we can do a bit of the cleanup work. So we can go into here and we can just double click on the item and highlight these ones here that are no good and press delete on the keyboard. And if you want to see these areas a little bit clearer, click off it. So these are obviously bits we want to get rid of. Double click on the item, highlight, delete, highlight, delete. There's another one there, control zoom, control scroll on the mouse to zoom, double click on the item, come in, delete. So that's looking pretty good. I'm just going to make sure there's no other little blemishes anywhere. No, that looks fine. I do think this is worth cleaning up, so we need to double click on it, and we can actually just delete some of the nodes here. Delete. Now you may need to even drag some of these nodes to be where you would prefer the shape to be. Now it's not often you'd have to do this, but at times you may need to. Now, depending how critical this part is would determine what you would do there. So we can just click off now, just have another inspection of this. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Looking good. Okay, so from here it's really just clicking on File, Save As. Make sure you select DXF, AutoCAD DXF R14 I've found that works okay, and save it to somewhere where you know where it is. And now I've just made sure millimeters is here, and I believe these settings should be good to go. I have tested this importing it into a CAD program, and it comes out dimensionally accurate. So that's it. That's how you use Inkscape to create a DXF file from a photocopied scan, and I hope that's been helpful.